Welcome to Monterrey, Mexico. Speed Channel is proud to bring you to Fundidora Park for the opening round of the 2002 Kart FedEx Championship Series. Now, local legend has it that the old steel mill that you see here provided some of the steel to build the Golden Gate Bridge, and that opened up Northern California to San Francisco. Although the mill is now but a monument, it serves as a wonderful backdrop for the opening up of a whole new era of champ car racing. Today, the long chase for championship glory starts with the season's first qualifying session. Hello everybody, I'm Derek Daly. I will host your broadcast throughout the season. And you know, there is a ripple of excitement that has run through every driver and every team owner all through this weekend here because of Kart's new leadership. You can almost see it, feel it, and touch it. It is that real. Well, the leadership is now under the guidance of Chris Pook, the man who made Long Beach Grand Prix so famous. Chris will join us later on in the broadcast, but I will tell you, he has energized everybody, including the boys in our booth. Let's go right there now and meet a friend of mine, one of the very best broadcasters in the business, Bob Varsha. Bob?
All right, thanks very much, Derek Daly. And folks, get ready for the American tradition of powerful open-wheel race cars with a whole new attitude and lots of off-season twists. Now, some of them you'll notice right away, while others will take more time to unfold, but we'll walk you through all of them, and it begins right now. As Derek Daly mentioned, we are proud to be bringing you more kart coverage than ever here on Speed Vision. Today, it's Friday qualifying, followed by the debut of Kart Friday Night, a 30-minute special hosted each race weekend by Derek Daly. Tonight, his special guest, Mexico's own Adrian Fernandez. Then on Saturday, second and final round of qualifying at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, followed by the season opener for the top rung on the kart staircase of driver talent, the Toyota Atlantic Championship at 9:30 Eastern Time. Then Sunday, we'll be live with you at 3:30 Eastern Time for our special pre-race show, followed by the green flag at 4 o'clock. And when the race is over, we'll stay with you for the podium ceremonies and we'll interview all of the top players. That is our promise to you. Now, joining me today and throughout the season to come, Tommy Kendall, a man with more racing championships than girlfriends, if you can believe it. Now, TK, you can go ahead and laugh.
Believe it.
Okay. TK, the first racing weekend of the season is always full of anticipation, but considering all that's happened at Kart during the offseason, what do you suppose those teams and drivers are feeling in the pit lane?
Well, you're right, Bob. This is a magical time. It is pure anticipation, and unlike years past, now with the new management, all of the din that drowned out some of that excitement in years past is gone, and now the focus is on who's got their act together, who's out in left field. This is the first time they're all going to lay it on the line. I'm as excited to find out as anyone.
And Friday qualifying is back, more important than ever before. Let's take a look at some of the rules changes that have been enacted during the off-season. Traction control is approved. Special electronics that limit wheel spin. We have a new qualifying procedure. Friday is back, and there's a championship point to the man who is fastest on Friday. You have all the methanol you need. No more fuel economy runs, but there are restrictions that go with it. And green flag finishes will be the rule whenever possible, even if a race has to be red flagged and restarted to take the checkers under full power. Now let's talk about qualifying. Since that's the subject today, the cars will go out as a group, not split as they were in the past, for a guaranteed 45 minutes of green flag running. We'll have 15 laps per driver. The fast time in each qualifying session will earn a bonus point. You think that's not important? Just ask Juan Pablo Montoya or perhaps Dario Franchitti, who tied for the championship a few years back. They would have given anything for one bonus point. Your Friday the fast man on Friday will be guaranteed a front row spot no matter how fast everybody goes in Saturday's final qualifying. The fastest time of both sessions wins the pole, and if you cause a red flag, you will not be parked, but you will lose your fast lap. We have all sorts of new strategic options available. Let's learn about one now with one of our pit reporters. Here is former Champ Car star Scott Pruitt.
Are you kidding me? This is a whole new qualifying session. One hour session per day, 15 laps. Not 15 time laps, 15 total. Here in Monterrey, because the track is so slippery, that's going to be tough. I talked to a number of the drivers. They all have different strategies. Some are thinking, let's wait till about halfway through, go out, do it all in one session. Some guys are thinking, well, let's do it in two, one for each new set of tires. A couple guys are thinking, well, maybe three. Whatever it's going to be exciting. So let's now go down to my partner in the pits, Calvin Fish. Calvin?
Well, thanks, Scott. Certainly a new season poses a lot of unanswered questions, and with those new variables from the rules package, there's really going to be some strategy involved for today's qualifying session. But a man who's been here many times before, and in fact more than anyone else in this series, his 19th kart season is Michael Andretti. Michael, what are your thoughts on the new qualifying procedures?
Well, I think we'll have to see what happens. I think it's going to be interesting. There's going to be a lot of different strategies, and we're going to see. It's going to be a little strange, I think, for some people, because I believe you'll see the green flag fall, but you're not going to see anybody go out for a while. So it's going to be a little quiet there for a while, and then all of a sudden everybody's going to be out there at the same time again.
We have your old sparring partner from Atlantic days, Roberto Moreno, no longer in the series, Michael. I'm sure you're aware you're the oldest man in the series now. But what are your goals here as you finish up your career and looking ahead to this season in particular?
Well, I want to win more races. That's what it's about, and I'd sure love to win another championship before I retire. And I think this year's one of my best chances with Team Motorola. So hopefully we can just improve a couple spots from last year.
Well, good luck, Michael.
Thank you.
Well, certainly if we don't see Michael around for too many more seasons, he's got his young son, Marco, actually competing in the World Karting Association Championships in Charlotte this weekend. They're going to have him behind the wheel of a Skip Barber car here shortly. We're hoping to see the Andretti name continue in kart competition. Bob?
All right, thanks, Calvin. Just what the opposition needs to hear. Another Andretti in the pipeline. Now, there is Michael's former team. That's the car of Cristiano D'Amata, arguably the hottest driver in the Kart FedEx Championship Series right now. Won the final 2 races of the 2001 season, fast in all the off-season testing, and fastest in this morning's practice, Tommy.
He has definitely thrown down the gauntlet. I look for Cristiano to bloom into an A-list star this year.
Here's a look at the top 10 in the morning practice. D'Amata by 2/10 over Bruno Junqueira in one of the target cars, and then Adrian Fernandez, the hero of all Mexico. And by the way, Sunday's race is a stone sellout here at Fundidora Park. Patrick Carpentier, Christian Fittipaldi, 96 Series champion Jimmy Vasser, Michel Jourdain Jr., another Mexican who has absolutely delighted his home crowd, Tony Kanaan, Paul Tracy, and Scott Dixon round out the top 10. We'll take a quick break. The cars are preparing to go out. How will they attack Friday qualifying and the championship point it offers? We're about to find out. Stay with us. This Speed Channel presentation is brought to you by FedEx, proud sponsor of the Kart FedEx Championship Series. And by Toyota. Welcome back to a beautiful day here at Fundidora Park. High clouds overhead, very, very warm. Temperatures in the 80s. The track temperature, 117 degrees Fahrenheit and climbing.
The story of the day is grip. It's coming up. The track is not nearly as dirty as it was last year on opening day, and the heat will help, but there is just very little grip to fight for.
We are under green flag conditions right now, but only one car has gone out. Mario Dominguez, the young Mexican rookie, went out, did not set a hot lap, basically went out, came right back in, so he has used one of his 15 allotted laps. Derek Daly is standing by with another of the Mexican stars of the weekend.
And Bob, is this like a bit like Formula One, when you've only got a certain number of laps, nobody goes out hoping somebody else will go out to clean the racetrack? You just had a look at Adrian Fernandez's helmet. Part of the organization is his helmet is laid out, by his gloves, by his balaclava, by the hands device. It's been sitting here for the last 15 minutes waiting for Adrian to come back. He's right here. Adrian, sorry, I know you're busy. I'm pestered all day here. Adrian, the emotional effect of coming to Mexico with so many fans, does that raise your game?
I hope it will. It's definitely, you feel it. It's more pressure than normally other tracks. But at the same time, we run very good this morning. I felt good once I get into the track. And, I know, everybody coming here, they want us to do good. So, you just keep it cool and don't get your anxiety just get over you.
Adrian, will you do long runs? Will you do short runs, trying to get this magic fast lap?
It depends. We have to really read it as we go with the first set of tires. The track is changing considerably, and we will make the call as I'm on the track.
Is it fair to say that you won't have much time to do setup changes during this session?
It may be difficult, yes. It may be difficult, but we're going to try to do one if we can, and that will depend how the tires are holding and, if you can get up to speed pretty quickly.
Adrian, thank you. Back to you, fellas.
Adrian Fernandez, a 7-time winner in Kart FedEx Championship Series action and the only owner-driver in the series. While we have a quiet moment on track, let's take a look at highlights from practice. And as Tommy Kendall mentioned, The question was traction. Where do you find it? This was Mario Dominguez in his first Champ Car season, losing the battle for grip.
And he's also got the added pressure. You see the Team Cool Green guys getting together. Tracy, little bump, sending Dario around. Not a great start to the year for them.
Michael Andretti off the final corner, getting on the throttle just that little bit too early, not hitting anything and not leaving rubber streaks on the track.
No, there's very little grip, not even enough to cause tire smoke under braking. You see Max Pappas pulling up a piece of the sod that's laid down just inside of those rumble strips.
Here is Adrian Fernandez going around at the same point on the track where Michael did. Once again, no damage. And Paul Tracy on a hot lap just went that little bit too far, finding the braking point. Had to go straight on, and look at how dusty it is when you get off onto the green stuff. Now, Oriol Servia with the newly renamed PWR team, the former Pac West team, crashed. Let's get down to Scott Pruitt.
I'm down here with Oriol Servia. This morning was, he had a little bit of a problem out there. What happened?
Well, it was okay. The only thing is I lost it going into a corner and I crashed. But, I mean, the track was very slippery. We kind of expected that, so we are just fixing it. It's going to be okay for qualifying.
How do you looking at qualifying right now? Guys are talking about doing different things, one long session, a couple short sessions. What do you think?
Well, right now I think everybody's playing the waiting game and waiting a little bit so the track gets rubbery and gets more grip, because it's obviously very green track, so the more we run, the better it gets. But you have to have a balance, because you need to have a clear lap. If we are all going at the same time, it's going to be a racing in qualifying. So we'll see. It's going to be quite interesting, especially because it's the first time we find ourselves in this position, and we'll see which team solves it better.
Thank you. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Scott. Thank you, Oriol. This is Max Pappas and his new ride with the Sigma team.
And Max does not want to play the waiting game. There's a lot of variables, one of which is your guaranteed 45 minutes of green. It's an hour session, but you're guaranteed 45 minutes. If you wait till the very end and a red comes out, you can lose potentially the last 15 minutes. So I think Max is going to probably at least get a run, and I think you'll see a lot of guys won't wait till the very, very end, both for traffic and because of the potential for a red flag.
I have to think a good plan would be to go out and try to post one hot lap. Because if somebody brings out that red flag and we've gone more than 45 minutes, you could be done for the day.
Yeah, exactly. What I would probably do, a key factor that Adrian touched on that will factor into the decision is how quickly do the tires come up. If it takes multiple laps like it did last year, you'd want to run them all together. But that not being the case, some of the guys were able to get up to speed relatively quickly. This morning, I think the way to do it would be do a short run, get a time in, probably do that one change, then sit out and maybe take a gamble on waiting until the end.
Just 21st quick in the morning practice was Max Pappas. As you can see him working that wheel, he is struggling to try to find grip. Across the concrete pack repairs where the track broke up last year, Max Pappas, Mad Max, posts his first time of the weekend. Take a break and tell you how he did. Stand by for more qualifying from Mexico.
How do they see through the stockings?
How do they see through? Out, flat out.
The irrepressible Mad Max Pappas. He has come up to speed. Now he is on a hot lap. As you see, pole at Portland last year, and that track also produced a victory for him. Look at him sawing away at that wheel. 2.1 mile permanent road course. There's that concrete patch once again. Swinging the tail out to the wall. That's got to be fun.
It's fun, but it's not always quick. It's definitely fun. And so, but the traction control, that's a good point to talk about. That's one thing that's new this weekend. Everybody assumes that a number of the guys have been working with it, but the development on that kind of a system is almost endless, and it does not keep the car from sliding, as you can see there. And each driver is able to tune it and vary the degree of slip to his driving style, to whatever they feel works best with their setup.
And it's worth pointing out that a lot of teams and manufacturers are still struggling with that technology. We haven't seen the best of it yet.
You listen to some of the guys and they made it sound like it was just switching it on and it was already built in, but there are so many variables. These cars are so sensitive, the driving styles are different, and that will be something that evolves not only over the whole season but for many years.
Mad Max continues on his way. Let's get to Calvin Fish standing by with Paul Tracy.
Well, it's very much a waiting game down here in the pit lane. Here we see the crew now starting to warm up, the number 26 machine, the Cool Reynard. But Paul is over here by the pit wall watching the monitors. We're going to try and catch a word with him here and see what the procedure will be. We anticipate a lot more teams heading out here in the next 5 minutes. Paul, what's your strategy for the session this afternoon?
Our strategy really is we're going to be a little bit conservative. We're going to go at like 20 minutes and 40 minutes and do basically 6 and 7 laps. I think we feel a bit more comfortable if there's less people on the track. I'm a little bit more comfortable there by myself and not have to worry too much about traffic. So the track it gets dirty real quick when there's a lot of guys out there sliding off in the grass. So we're going to be a bit conservative, but I think it'll work for us.
We see a very different looking Paul Tracy this year. I know you've been working hard in the gym. You lost a lot of weight. How you feeling on the racetrack?
I felt good this morning. The car was pretty good, and I don't think we showed as fast as what we could have gone, but we're right there in the top 10, and I think we got a pretty good car. We just have to go out and try to, in this small window that you have to do your laps, you got to get it in.
Some drivers like the slick, cold conditions, for want of a better description. You put together a blinding first lap here last year, eventually climbed your way onto the podium. Do you like this racetrack?
I like the track. I mean, I'd like to have it a little bit more grip, but you know, the end of the race last year, it had quite a lot of grip. It's just the way it is. I mean, you start out with very, very low grip, and in the race last year, our race pace was a second faster than we qualified. So the track will get better and better. It's just the way it is.
All right, mate. Good luck this weekend. Let's go down to Derek, I believe, with Cristiano D'Amata.
And indeed, he's watching Max Pappas' run here as he gets dressed, ready to go out himself. Cristiano, just for a quick second, fast this morning. Will you do short runs or long runs? Do you know yet?
It's a little bit of a secret still. It's actually, I think, mostly everywhere we go in this championship, I think we're going to be doing short runs. But because this track, the level of grip is so different, it's a difficult one to decide. I think I'm watching everybody else first to decide what I'm going to do.
Christian, with the finish of last season and with sneak preview and with this morning's practice session, I mean, you have to be absolutely brim full of confidence for this whole season long.
Yeah, I'm very confident for the season. The team is very confident for the season, but it's also too early to say something. You know, we better just get our heads down and just keep on working.
That's it, keep your head down. If I could just hang on, fellas, just for 1 second. I don't know if this is telltale or not, but if you look at the front tires here, they're brand new, so they obviously believe brand new tires can be scrubbed in and effective as opposed to starting the qualifying session on scrubbed tires.
What that tells you is that they're pretty confident that they can get those up to temperature pretty quickly. Otherwise, you would probably have taken a couple laps this morning to knock the glaze off them if that was a concern.
Max Pappas out there pounding around. He is on his 5th lap, his best, 1 minute 25.928 seconds, about 88.1 miles an hour, nowhere near the fast lap set this morning in practice by Cristiano D'Amata, whom we just heard from at 120.504. Let's take a look at this 2.1 mile layout.
There you have the long front straightaway down into turn 1 is the best passing zone. Turn 1's a right-hander third gear down into second gear, all the way through the fast chicanes at 120-degree left into turn 10, 11, 12, left with 2 180-degree horseshoes. Low grip, as we talked about, is pretty much the story.
Last year's pole sitter was Kenny Brack, who has let it be known he'd like to Americanize his last name, pronounce the short A this year. Cristiano D'Amata, of course, last year's race winner. As Max Pappas continues on his way, let's join Scott Pruitt.
I'm down here with Bruno Junqueira. Bruno, things went pretty good this morning. Tell me a little bit about how traction control is working around this track.
Oh, he is working a lot because the track is very slippery and there is no grip. You just use this track once a year, then you need to run a little bit until you put the rubber down and start to get grip. But I think this morning's been fine. I was second fastest. The car is looking good.
And for qualifying, what's your strategy? Go out 2 sessions or?
Yeah, I'm gonna have two runs with 2 new sets of tires and try to be on pole and get the extra point.
We're back up to you, Bob.
All right, thanks, Scott. I was noticing those pigeons along the edge of the racetrack. They've got the best seats in the house as Max Pappas continues his way around, about to complete his 6th lap. When will he be joined by the rest of the field? We'll find out shortly. Welcome back to the Kart FedEx Championship Series Friday qualifying for the Tecate Telmex Grand Prix. Bob Varsha along with Tommy Kendall down in the pit lane, Derek Daly, Calvin Fish, and Scott Pruitt. Still very little action to this point. But now from Mo Nunn Racing, this is Tony Kanaan turning his opening laps. Each driver given 15 laps and 45 minutes of guaranteed green flag time in the session. We're coming up on 20 minutes in just a second or so. Earlier we heard Paul Tracy say he was going to go out at the 20-minute mark and put a time on the board and see how it stood up.
Now, Paul Tracy said he's going to be conservative. Paul Tracy, conservative, usually not used in the same sentence, but
oxymoronic.
But I think it's indicative of a new Paul Tracy. His focus is a little bit more on championship instead of race wins. He's showing his maturity, still has the speed, and usually it's the cars that slim down from year to year, but PT is looking very fit and trim. Another case where I think that's not a bad move on the Team Cool Green guys. You know, Cristiano was being very coy about what they planned and so forth. This is a situation where you get a lot of guys out tricking themselves, and we're going to hear a lot of guys second guessing what they did after this session, I would imagine.
Cars coming on track now. Michel Jourdain Jr. out in front of Tony Kanaan. Before the action builds, let's get down to Derek Daly, standing by with a very important person in the kart family these days. Derek?
A man who has become very, very high profile recently, Chris Pook. Chris, I know you relish your job at hand to bring karts to heights it's never seen before.
Well, it's an interesting challenge, Derek. I mean, I've had a career full of challenges in the motor racing business since I started, and I think this one probably is as good as any of the ones in the past. And it's a great product, and we're going to work with it, and we're going to take it to a new level.
Chris, what makes the product so good?
Well, it's it is the finest form of motor racing championship I believe that exists. I mean, the fact that these guys are going to run on a road course, on a street course, and on an oval, I mean, it defines a really true racing car driver. I mean, and a team, and an engine manufacturer, and a supplier. I mean, you have to be multifaceted to win this championship at every stage, and there is no other championship in the world like it. And we run in North America, from Canada to the US to Mexico. We run in the Pacific Rim in Japan and in Australia. We run in the European Economic Community in England and Germany, and it's a fabulous combination. And we have an interesting collection of drivers who participate in the series, drivers from all over the world. So it's very, very multinational in the sense. It delivers a huge amount, and then you can see this weekend we are in Monterrey, Mexico, in a fantastic setting. This old park with the old steel mill in the background and the mountains on the other side of the city. It's incredible.
It really is, and I think versatility might be a word that could describe this championship overall.
Question about it. Thank you very much, Derek. Tony Kanaan has taken over provisional pole on his very first hot lap. He went 1:23.754, well ahead of Max Pappas, who is now demoted to second quick. There's Mexican rookie Mario Dominguez on track, and there is Dario Franchitti getting ready. Here's Calvin Fish.
Well, another real change for this year, Bob, is the fact that all of the drivers now have to wear the hands device on all courses, not just the ovals, also the road courses. I spoke to Dario here. He's got his game face on, getting ready for qualifying right now. He says really affected him. A lot of the drivers can actually lock their head into position. Dario, I think, likes to lean through the corners a bit more, and he said with this hands device on, it really pinches down on his neck muscles. So he's been hitting the gym, working out some different muscles now, and he's pretty comfortable with it. But when you're on the road courses, really a lot more going on in the ovals, a lot more shifting. This track is pretty smooth, but typically a lot more bumps, so a lot more work for the drivers to get used to here, wearing the hands device for the first time on the street course. Dario Franchitti.
All right, thank you, Calvin. A moment ago, we had a brief yellow flag for an off and on by Alex Tagliani in one of the players' cars, and we expect to see more of that as this season unfolds. Local yellow flags preventing us from going to a full course caution. With Adrian Fernandez. Here's more from Scott Pruitt.
I had a chance to talk to a number of the guys following up on what Calvin had to say. This is the first year where they have to use it on road courses as well as ovals. A lot of the guys over the winter, they've taken modified them. Some are specially built for them only. Really trying to get them comfortable. This is a huge safety device. One other quick note, as I'm sitting down here right in front of Jimmy Vasser, all the guys are getting saddled up. So we're going to see some action real soon. Bob?
All right, thanks, Scott. We're riding with Adrian Fernandez. Let's watch and listen. Now he's shut it down. There we go. While we watched, last year's Rookie of the Year, Scott Dixon and Tony Kanaan have been batting provisional pole position around. Things are getting interesting. Stay with us. Welcome back to the opening round of the Kart FedEx Championship Series for 2002. Here's a look at our top 5 in Friday qualifying. Alex Tagliani with the Players team has been off and on the track twice before posting the fast time of the session thus far at 120.798.
He did all that and set his fast lap in 4 laps. So that's our best indication that you can get a blinder in, and that's a full 1.7 seconds faster than he went this morning. The only guy so far to go quicker than he went this morning.
And if you're a fan of Mexican drivers and in the massive crowd developing here at Fundidora Park, well, they certainly are. There are 3 Mexican drivers in the top 5 right now, but we have a red flag. Word is it's for Paul Tracy, who completed his hot lap and then appears to have straight on it. Here's a look.
Look how little grip there is. The car just will not slow down. It didn't hit anything, but he looks like he stalled it.
Notice the black streaks only on the concrete patch. Apparently lost the fire. So the Simple Green safety crew is out there to get the Canadian back on his way.
Now here's an indication of what they're going to try to do to manage these red flags. The way the rules are written, the red flag, they delayed this red flag by 30 seconds to let the guys that were on hot laps complete the laps. When they're able to do that safely, they will. Otherwise, they would throw it away. The lap would not count against them, but they would throw away a hot lap on the tires.
Remember, it's 45 minutes of guaranteed green flag time. So the session will probably not be extended because of this short red. Max Pappas talks it over with the Sigma team. We'll take a break and be right back. Here's a look at the top 10 in provisional qualifying on Friday. Michel Jourdain Jr. of Mexico is at the top of the charts at a 120.457, much quicker than he went in Friday practice. So we are back under a green flag after a short red brought out by Paul Tracy, who spun off without hitting anything. There you see his teammate Dario Franchitti back on track. The Pigeons are not cowed. They will stay exactly where they are. While the drivers make their way around, we have some good cars on track. We want to go to race control and speak with Gary Barnard, Senior Manager of Competition for CART. Gary, what will happen to Paul Tracy having brought out that brief red flag?
The penalty for Paul, Bob, will be that he will lose his fastest lap for the entire session. At the end of the session, his fastest lap time will go away. Our timing and scoring people, though, are displaying it.
Now, because he brought out that red flag, what enters into your thinking before you throw the red flag, given where Tracy found himself when the car finally stopped?
Well, he was in a position where he could have been hit by another car. So Wally Dallenbach made the decision that we would allow all cars who would not be affected by the yellow zone to complete their fast laps. And at that point, we then threw the red flag. So we attempt to not stop another competitor. We're just getting ready to go red here again, so stand by, guys.
All right, thank you, Gary. We saw Dario Franchitti going off and on a moment ago, but this is Christian Fittipaldi, and it's quite a bit more serious.
Looks like it's back in turn 9. If I had to guess, he probably dumped his right rear off on the exit and shot him across onto the inside right as you approach turn 9. Turn 8's a tight 90-degree left-hander.
Tore the nose off the car. You see the red flag is out. Michel Jourdain remains at the top of the charts as the new nose is readied for Christian Fittipaldi. No, he's going to get out. Do a little housekeeping.
Está el piloto del auto número 32, Patrick Carpentier, incorporándose
So we have the red flag and the safety vehicles on track as Christian gets back in, having completed his housework.
When he's strapped in, he can't see what the damage is, so he got out, gave it a quick assessment. He'll get back in. Look, see, he's plugging in his radio. The cord's too short. He's going to tell them what's going on before they tow him away.
He's going to have to reattach the wheel with all of those elaborate electrical connections on it. We are coming up on 35 minutes into this 60-minute qualifying session. Now there's Dario Franchitti parked Team Cool Green pits, and this was Dario a moment ago. Just that little bit too hot into the corner.
Yeah, into turn 10. He knew he was in trouble way early. You saw him starting to head for the inside. That's trying to buy himself a little bit more time. He'll be able to go straight a little bit longer in hopes of getting it slowed down. Obviously, he was not even close, and so he had to go through the grass. But there's a case. There wasn't one single wisp of tire smoke. They just, even with the locked tire, the good news is there's no flat spots. The bad news is it's hard to get the car stopped.
And the tires in the Kart FedEx Championship Series this year are Bridgestone, switching over from Firestones of years past. Let's get down to Calvin Fish.
Okay, we're down here in Team Cool Green pit. Barry Green's on the radio. Going to have a chat with us here. The new rule, Barry, in qualifying is if you cause the red flag, which Paul did, you just lose the fastest lap. You don't get parked any longer. Do you think that's a good move?
Well, I mean, that's the new rule, and hopefully it doesn't hurt us. We've still got a fair bit of time left. You know, the track is slippery, and it caught him out there, but hopefully we'll get back out there and get a good run and not have to worry about get too fast laps and be okay. But it's all a bit new. It's all very exciting. We're sort of guessing what are the other teams doing, so we're so used to the other system, and we knew always what was right or wrong. In this deal, we don't know what's right or wrong yet, so it's a lot of fun.
There's a lot more variables this year, of course, and does it keep you awake at night when you wake up in the middle of the night and think about what we should be doing on Sunday?
Well, I'm sure my guys, my real tacticians, not me, but my real tacticians are guessing a lot at night, but I think it's exciting. You know, there's going to be a lot of complaints about blocking this, that, and the other, but we're just going to have to deal with them, and it's you know, like I said, it's a whole new deal for us.
All right, thanks, Barry. Let's get down to Derek further down pit lane.
As you can read, Get Well Beaker. Well, Beaker is Chris Sheffer. He got the nickname because when he gets agitated, he acts just like Beaker. Well, Chris is a very lucky boy. Right before the Herdez team departed for Mexico, Chris had a life-threatening seizure, and in fact he was on life support. The nurses now call him a miracle boy because Wednesday he took 4 steps with the aid of a walker. They do expect full recovery, but Chris Sheffer, the boys are doing a good job here, and we wish you very well.
Indeed we do. Beaker, by the way, I believe is one of the Muppets characters, isn't he? Who never really speaks. He just sort of squeaks when he gets excited. Christian Fittipaldi has gotten his crippled race car moving once again. He'll come in. Hopefully it's nothing more than a simple nose job, and he'll be back underway again. But he will lose his best time of the day. Crew working to clean up that part of the racetrack. We should be back under green shortly. We have 22 minutes and 14 seconds roughly remaining in the session. We'll take a break and return with more Friday qualifying from the opening round of the Kart FedEx Championship Series. Welcome back to Fundidora Park as Friday qualifying, the first round of qualifying, continues here on Speed Channel. I'm Bob Barsha with Tommy Kendall, Calvin Fish, Scott Pruitt, and Derek Daly are in the pit lane. And here's a look at our top 10. Michel Jourdain has never won a pole in his Kart FedEx Championship Series career. He is the provisional pole sitter right now over Alex Tagliani, Adrian Fernandez, Tony Kanaan, and Mario Dominguez. At the end of the day, he could have a championship point and a guaranteed spot on the front row for Sunday's race, whether or not he winds up as pole sitter for this weekend. Heard Barry Green a moment ago say, "This is fun. We're not sure what we're doing." Let's get down to Calvin Fish.
Well, there's a lot of work going on the 22 machine of Max Pappas, run by Sigma Autosport, of course, and they really struggled in this morning's practice session. Max said he could not believe how slick the track was. They've changed everything on the car in this session. Wig angle, they've changed the springs and shocks. They've even been into the differential and changed the preload, which is how effective the rear end is working in terms of traction. Even with traction control, Max says the car is very loose coming off the corner, so they're working hard. They're not really too concerned about being out for the very fast lap, getting the maximum or the best track time. They're just really treating this session as a test session, making a number of wholesale changes on this Lola.
On board with Michael Andretti. Back under green.
in turn 10 or 11 heading into 12. You see them on the red concrete, and they have so much grip there that they have to prepare for when they come off, and so they're trying to do as much work as they can on the grippy red pavement before they get into the stuff and the car just walks sideways out to the wall. Same thing here on the inside of turn 2. They just dive for this concrete. It might be earlier than they want to be, but they just hold on to it. It's like the car hooks onto a groove. It's a dramatic change between the black and the red.
One of the fastest men in the Kart FedEx Championship Series, Michael Andretti, has 32 career poles, but he hasn't seen one since Elkhart Lake at Road America back in 1999.
There's almost 3 times as many poles as Paul Tracy, to give you an idea who's number 2 on the active list right now. So Michael, a specialist at qualifying. His game has changed a little bit. He's more of a race day player now, but he does have the speed over 1 lap.
Comes the flag stand. Michael Andretti logs into 10th at 122.730. And that is 3 seconds faster than he went this morning. Sequential shift, push forward to go down a gear, pull back to go up a gear. Notice his right elbow hitting the shift linkage. As fast as Michael is going, he is going backwards. He has been bumped down to 15th. Cristiano D'Amata right there is now the fast man in the session and the provisional pole sitter, bumping Michel Jourdain. Jourdain now 2nd, Alex Tagliani 3rd, Patrick Carpentier is up into 4th, and Jimmy Vasser is 5th. We'll be back in just a moment. Back to Fundidora Park, you are on board with Adrian Fernandez, who is currently in 12th spot in Friday qualifying with 1 championship point and a guaranteed spot on the front row for Sunday's Tecate Telmex Monterrey Grand Prix at stake. There's a look at Cristiano D'Amata, who won 3 races last year, including this one, but he has never had a pole in his Kart FedEx Championship Series career. He has started 2nd 3 times in 2001, once in 2000. Of course, it'll be tomorrow afternoon before we'll know who sits on pole for Sunday's race. Scott Pruitt has more from the pit lane.
Well, I had a chance to talk to Tony Kanaan, Patrick Carpentier. Both these guys said, you know, we are focused on just trying to get that 1 point because the track is going to change so dramatically between today and tomorrow. We're not really focused on time and starting position in the race. We're focused on getting that 1 point. Calvin?
to follow up on that, Scott, is the fact that you do get locked into the front row, and everyone expects this racetrack to be dramatically quicker tomorrow. So if you are on the pole coming out of today, you're guaranteed a front row spot, and that could be big. If you had any problems tomorrow, even if you suddenly got like 17th, 18th fastest time, you are guaranteed a front row start. So let's get it down to Derek, I believe, with Mo Nunn.
Yes, indeed. I'm in Mo Nunn's pit here, and Kanaan has moved down the list to P10. He's only done 7 laps. And Mo, you think it's quite risky to leave it so late on a track this slippery. Why?
Yeah, sure. So we went out early while there was no cars on the track and just got like a guarantee lap in, and we're guaranteed 45 minutes out of the hour of green time, and with the track being so bad, it's, you know, if they get a red, anybody does anything wrong, you're going to struggle to get a time.
So Mo, as you sit here, as Tony Kanaan has gone down the list, you are still pretty confident that you have a handle on the situation here.
Yeah, he's just looking at his first lap out. He's on the gas, so we'll see.
Good. It's interesting as you look at the timing and scoring. The man who has done the most laps is Michel Jourdain. He has done 10 laps. He happens to be fastest.
In fact, you heard that reaction from the crowd while Mo Nunn was speaking. That's because native Mexican Michel Jourdain is now atop the standings once again. 6 years in the Kart FedEx Championship Series, one of the youngest drivers in series history when he started just before his 20th birthday. A second-generation racer. In fact, his father, Michel Sr., and his uncle, Bernard Jourdain, both raced in this championship as well. And now he is with Bobby Rahall's team, partnering Jimmy Vasser, and he'll have top-flight equipment, arguably for the first time in his career.
Yeah, he's approaching his 100th start, but you think he isn't excited. Bounced out of his ride with the Ardez team, was looking at maybe having nothing, and then this came together at the very last second, just in time for spring training. And look at this. He just lowered his time again. He was 5/1000ths ahead of D'Amata. He's lowered his time about another 10th.
So he is now a full 10th ahead of Cristiano D'Amata. And keep in mind, from second on back, nothing counts today. The only thing that counts in Friday qualifying is that provisional pole. Gigante on the side of the car, a Mexican store chain, hoping to work its way into the United States and eventually to Canada, which is another of the strengths of the Kart FedEx Championship Series, is that it races all over the world. If you want to be anywhere in North America, this is your series. If you want to race around the world, this is your series.
You notice through that complex a dramatic difference between Jourdain not on the big alligator teeth at all. D'Amata, the only car I've seen that's been clobbering those teeth. He's able to put in a good number, but Jourdain looks very, very tidy.
Mario Dominguez, the young Mexican rookie, is now up into 3rd spot. Scott Dixon is 4th. Christian Fittipaldi 5th. But remember, he will lose his fast lap as a result of bringing out a red. Kenny Brack is 6th, Alex Tagliani 7th, followed by Townsend Bell. Tony Kanaan up into 8th, bumping Townsend Bell and Dario Franchitti to the number 10 spot. Coming up on 10 minutes to go in the session. Ooh, getting that little bit sideways before hitting the concrete and straightening up. We'll take a break. Final moments of Friday qualifying to come. Welcome back. Be sure to stay with us all weekend here on the Kart FedEx Championship Series Trail tonight. Following our coverage of Friday qualifying, it's the debut edition of Kart Friday Night. Derek Daly will host, to be joined by Adrian Fernandez, Chris Pook, and our entire staff of announcers. Then on Saturday, final qualifying at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, followed by the opening of the Toyota Atlantic season at 9:30 Eastern. And then on Sunday, live Kart FedEx Championship Series racing. The pre-race show begins at 3:30 Eastern, followed by the green flag. And of course, after it's over, we'll stay here to spray the champagne and talk to all of the key players. On board with Adrian Fernandez, and the leaderboard is changing constantly. Tony Kanaan has just moved up into 3rd, and Michel Jourdain has posted a lap at 1:19.326 seconds, just over 95.4 miles an hour. consolidating that 1/10 of a second lead over Cristiano D'Amata, who will not go away. He just turned his quickest lap on his 9th and most recent.
And Jourdain ran another lap that would have, he's run 3 laps quicker than D'Amata's best. So and he's also, like you pointed out earlier, run more laps than anybody else. So I think in terms of people out tricking themselves, the guy who are running short runs might be stuck with not enough time to get some heat. Let's go down to Calvin.
Well, Michael Andretti came into his pit just shaking his head. I know after this morning's practice session, he was very concerned. Distinct lack of grip. Eddie Jones and Kim Green are here on the pit wall. They're talking to Michael over the radio. We're trying to get a quick word with Kim. Actually, I think they're pretty in discussion right now with Michael to get him back on track and trying to take advantage of the last few moments of qualifying. 2 sticker tires, Michael back on track.
You ride with Michael Andretti, senior driver in the Kart FedEx Championship Series. Coming up on 8 minutes to go in the session, Shinji Nakano has gone up to 7th quick. I'm a little surprised to see Jimmy Vasser, Michel Jourdain's teammate, back there in 15th. He's completed 10 laps.
On the scoring monitor, we just saw the red flag rule. Christian Fittipaldi just ran a 19.57, would have put him in 3rd. The scoring auditors edited out that time, and now his next best lap puts him 6th.
Now Jourdain, the provisional pole sitter, has completed 14 laps. He has pitted. He may well be done. Well, effectively, he is done because your warm-up and cool-down laps count in your total of 15. So he'll sit back now and hope that his time will hold.
And Mario Dominguez is showing 14 laps, yet he is not in his pit box. If he does not come in this lap, they will take that fastest lap that has him in the 3rd spot right now. So if the communication is not good between team and driver, Dominguez could have that lap go away.
What a disappointment that would be.
And he is in the pits.
Yep. He's preserved it, so he is done. Well, is that Michael? Patrick Carpentier, that's one of the players' cars. There will be a red flag, so depending on how long it is, we'll have to see if the session is extended. Bruno Junqueira leapt up into 3rd at 119.4, 0.04 of a second slower than Christian D'Amata. There you see Michel Jourdain. Let's get down to the pit lane.
Michel, new team, great run so far, so good. How's it feel?
Very good. I'm very happy. I'm hopefully gonna get more laps. You know, I don't know who's that out in the track, but I'm gonna thank him for sure. I mean, hopefully we can get it. You know, it would be. I mean, imagine that starting from pole. So no, hopefully we end up on pole. You know.
So the track itself, a little slippery. Traction control. How's all that working out?
Yeah, it's very, very slippery. I mean, it's so hard to be patient. You know, you feel so slow everywhere. You know, like driving in the rain. You know, you want to go a lot faster, but you can't. So it's hard. But no, I mean, Team Rahal, you know, Gigante of Depot. You know, I mean, a couple of months I didn't know if I was going to be racing or not. And right now, with a couple of minutes ago, I'm standing on pole in Mexico. You know, I mean, it's, you know, for Gigante, for Depot, would be the best.
Well, great job. The best of luck for tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Scott.
Let's go back upstairs.
I thought I detected a little catch in his throat there. It's all a little overwhelming for young Michel Jourdain. And there's the fist bump. He's going to have to work on that. You got to jump on the pit wall. You got to... Yeah, that's a little bit better. Come on, Michel. Scott Remke, the team manager at Team Rahal, welcomes him up to the pit box. Here's a look at the top 10 as they stand. See if anyone will get a shot at Michel Jourdain's provisional pole. Otherwise, the first championship point of 2002 will be his. 8 men in the 119 zone. Will they be joined? We'll find out shortly. Stand by for more from Fundidora Park in Monterrey. Welcome back. We are back under green at Fundidora Park as Friday qualifying, a very exciting Friday qualifying, continues here on the opening weekend of the Kart FedEx Championship Series for 2002. Michel Jourdain with 100 starts in his kart career, but never a pole, never a victory, only one top 3, and that came last year in Michigan, if I'm not mistaken. Being pursued by Cristiano D'Amata, Bruno Junqueira, Christian Fittipaldi. Mario Dominguez is now done. He has turned in his 15 laps. Jourdain is done as well. D'Amata, Junqueira, Fittipaldi all have laps still in hand.
This is the exact scenario that both myself and Mo Nunn touched on, where if you have a red flag towards the end and you don't have your flyer in, we saw it with Jourdain. Every lap was faster. The more laps you ran, and at the very end, he finally had a little tail off, but there's only 4 minutes to go. At most, guys can maybe get 2 flyers in. And whether they can get temperature or not is, I would say, doubtful. And Jourdain, it says it all. That G on his suit, this is gigante for him.
There is Cristiano D'Amata, second in the provisional running order. Christian Fittipaldi right behind him. Let's get down to the pit lane and Derek Daly.
This is the Newman Haas pit. Now, we are trying to find out, as they find out, the type of strategy that works best on these road courses, particularly when it's slippery. Here's what D'Amata did. A brand new set of tires, as I showed you earlier. He ran laps to get a heat cycle and to scrub them, took them off, put a second new set on, ran enough to get used to the car, setup change, and to clean off the track. He has now put the first set back on for what they say will be his pole run, which will be probably, what, 2 or 3 laps maximum. So interesting as we learn the different strategies that these teams will employ, because I'm sure they're learning as they go along here.
I think that's the critical point, Derek. Everybody is learning how to use these new rules.
It's kind of neat to see these guys that are some pretty smart guys, the smartest guys in racing around, not have the foggiest idea what to do.
There's Christian Fittipaldi. I'm not sure his Formula One experience includes the years in which they applied the 12-lap rule. In Formula One, it's one session of 12 laps on Saturday. 2 minutes to go in the session. And counting. There's D'Amata. There is Christian. Alex Tagliani has jumped up to P2 at 119.384.
He has one more lap in the bank that he can do and not violate his 15-lap minimum. So he's going to be on a flyer now. There, we're on him now.
Beginning the last laps right about now. Kenny Breck, last year's pole sitter, up into 9th. Now you can lay back to get some clean track, but you better begin that last lap before the checkered flag flies. That last hot lap, I should point out. Michael Andretti just completed a lap, and he remains mired in 18th place.
Michel Jourdain is watching Tagliani here. This is Tagliani's last lap. Irrespective of time, he has to be back and use the final lap to get back to the pits. Coming up on Scott Dixon. Dixon is not on a fast lap, but he's not slowing down either. He's trying to get some temperature, so he's not going to be able to pull over and get out of the way either.
Off the final corner, onto the start-finish straightaway. And Tagliani goes to the top of the chart, spoiling Michel Jourdain's dream. There's the reaction of a veteran. Tagliani at 119.2. Keep in mind, last year's pole-winning lap by Kenny Breck was a 1:15.244.
The Newman Haas teammates, first Cristiano D'Amata, and then jumps to second, and then Fittipaldi jumps him back. Fernandez
Adrian
jumps
Fernandez.
to P1.
Here's Bruno Junqueira with an off and on earlier. The clock has run out. The checkered flag flies.
Wholesale changes on the monitor. Dario Franchitti into P2. Fernandez's time an 18.9, a blinder, 0.3 quicker than Franchitti and Tagliani.
The only man under 119. Now, as you can tell from Kenny Breck's time a year ago at a 1:15, the track will get much faster tomorrow. I would almost bet, obviously if it doesn't rain, the pole sitter is going to be considerably faster, but Fernandez will be locked into the front row. Franchitti improves to a 119.202. Tagliani now third at 119.241. Jimmy Vasser improves to 10th. You watch Adrian Fernandez, who has one pole in his kart FedEx Championship Series career. Once again, we're not giving him this weekend's pole. That story will be told tomorrow. And Christian Fittipaldi now moves to the top. He began his
Here comes Adrian to the line. Not enough.
Well, double check that. Timing and scoring is shuffling. Now keep in mind, Christian loses his fast lap no matter when it comes as a result of bringing out that red.
If I'm not certain, they already did that when he set. Oh, but
no, but you lose your best lap no matter when it comes.
That's correct.
So I believe what we have here, we'll have to wait for confirmation, but I think Christian Fittipaldi is the fastest man on Friday, but he's lost that lap, and the championship point and the guaranteed front row spot for Sunday's race will go to Adrian Fernandez. But don't go cash the check yet. On board with Adrian. They're celebrating in the pit lane. They think they know what's going on. Don Halliday and the crew. Fernandez, now confirmed, is the provisional pole sitter. We'll take a break and be right back to Mexico.
Do they bowl in Italy? Do they bowl?
Adrian Fernandez rolls in, the PA goes crazy, and the crowd is on its feet in the grandstand. The hero of Mexico has drawn first blood in the Kart FedEx Championship Series. And ironically, he is not the fastest man here today. That was Christian Fittipaldi. But as we decided, he had that red flag penalty, lost his quick lap. So the first championship point of the year goes to Adrian Fernandez.
Yes.
Let's get down to Derek Daly.
This might be a dream come true for Adrian Fernandez. Adrian, can you just strap the helmet off? Because this is a dream come true. You couldn't have written a script better for a practice session like today. Adrian, new partnership with Don Halliday, paying dividends.
Oh man, I'm so excited. It's like winning a race here. You know, it's Don Halliday was just terrific on the radio. It's we were having some problems starting the engine, and we have to change our strategy and stay on the track. The car wasn't like I wanted at the beginning, but we didn't panic and managed to do the changes and stay up there, man. I mean, I was riding with Don Halliday.
But Adrian, the dramatics to save the lap right till the end.
I tell you, it was very close. I was right at the end. -1, and I thought that I lost a little bit, but I must have gained it on into the main straight, and I tell you, it feels unbelievable. This is I haven't experienced something like this in my entire career.
Well done, Bob. He is out of breath. His heart is pounding through his chest.
What a day for Adrian Fernandez, who picks up provisional pole, a championship point, and a guaranteed front row starting spot. Dario Franchitti, second quick, and Alex Tagliani third. Christian Fittipaldi lost his quick lap, but still remains fourth quickest. There is Fittipaldi, talking it over with his team. This is going to be an interesting season from Friday through Sunday night. Now here's another look at what happened to Christian Fittipaldi to bring out the red flag.
See, he dumped the right rear up on the curb end. He got it in the grass. It turned him hard left, locks him up, bangs the nose against the curb, knocks the front wing off. We saw what happened after that. Had to be towed back in, and that's what cost him his lap. And they kept editing that throughout the session. So he leapt to the top of the scoring monitor, and then they edit that lap out. He dropped back down to fourth.
Let's get down to Calvin Fish.
Christian, you're looking at the timing monitor. You qualified fourth here, but you had the fastest run going. Tell us about the incident on course first and foremost. The track's incredibly slippery, of course.
Well, track is slippery, but I guess it's slippery for everyone out there, and it caught me out. I made a small mistake, maybe a little bit too early on the power, going onto the back straight, and that spun me, but I was very lucky that it only screwed up my front nose. I put a new nose in the car, and I was ready to go again. At that point, I had only done not even a lap. I was on my first flying lap, and I had the splits in the car, and I knew that the car was good. So I said, guys, just put the second set of tires on, change the front nose, and let's go for it. Like, the car is definitely competitive. We had the quickest time out there this afternoon, but unfortunately I lost it because I caused a red flag. But we still have some more tomorrow, and I'm very happy right now.
The team has been performing very well in the winter testing, but it's really been your teammate who's been stealing the headlines. This has to feel good.
No, like, I guess this is racing, and obviously all the drivers are trying our very best out there. Winter testing is nice to be the quickest, but it's not everything, and he can steal whatever he wants on winter testing as long as it doesn't go like this through the season. And I'm very confident for the season, and I think we really have it all together, and we'll just have to take a step at a time, but I think it's going to come to us.
Okay, Christian Fittipaldi certainly rising his game and stepping up to the challenge here. He's also going to be doing about 6 Busch Grand National races a little bit later in the season, guys.
All right, thanks, Calvin. When was the last time you saw that much anguish by the fastest man on a Friday in any form of motorsports, or that much jubilation for the guy who was quickest? We'll be back. Welcome back to Fundidora Park in Monterrey, Mexico, and the first weekend of the Kart FedEx Championship Series for 2002. I'm Bob Varsha with Tommy Kendall, Calvin Fish, Scott Pruitt, and Derek Daly. And the new rules for Friday qualifying did exactly what they were designed to do, Tommy. They brought great drama to Friday's first round.
The drama is back on Friday. And I'll tell you what, it used to be you just kind of tried to get through Friday to get to Saturday to get your blood pumping, but it's a really welcome addition. I'm as excited as they are. I'm fumbling over my words, and it's neat to see.
That's Dario Franchitti, who just got a big hug from his former engineer, Don Halliday. He's with Derek Daly, clearly.
And they have to make their way to the media center. But Dario, that was a great run for you. Did you get a fair lap? Did you get a good lap?
No, I didn't. Unfortunately, we were at the wrong end of the pit lane, and when we went green again after the last red, I had Michael behind me and Max in front of me, and we were all trying to do our best to get a clear lap. But the lap before my flyer, I couldn't back off anymore. I was going to start holding Michael up, and I didn't really want to get involved in that because, you know, it would be a fair shot. But last 3 corners, Max was on a flyer in front of me, but he was running a bit slower than I was, and he held me up the last 3 corners, and otherwise I think we'd had a shot at the point for the provisional pole.
With the track being so slippery, how difficult was it to manage that 1-hour session, to try and time it properly?
I think everybody had the same idea. The track was so slippery at the moment. We just wanted to really wait till the track was at its best and then go from there. And I think we did a good job of that. But I think we'll see a different session tomorrow.
Faster?
Oh yeah,
a lot faster.
I think it will be. I think you're going to see the times tumbling tomorrow. So which is all the more frustrating because it would be nice to get that point for the one today.
Dario, it was great. Thank you, Scott.
I'm down here with Alex Tagliani. Everybody's saying how slippery the track was. Tell us about it.
Well, it's very slippery. We're running with the road course tires. This track, for me, it's a street course. Obviously, we're running in the streets, but the pavement, everything is so slippery. We're slower than last year. The curbs that they did for avoiding cars to go on the grass is pretty good. The track's pretty clean. That's an improvement, but we can't touch them, so we need to drive around them, and it makes us slower lap time. But it's so difficult. The cars are moving around a lot. Almost no feel on the braking. We're like just on ice everywhere. But I think I really enjoy the new configuration in qualifying. It's fair for everybody, makes a great show. And on tracks where we don't need as much lap to run, to have temperature in the tires is going to be even more exciting for the fans.
Now, as far as the traction control, we've been talking a lot about how it's going to differ from qualifying to the race. How was it in qualifying on this track?
Well, I think it's a big help because we have so little traction that it helps the car and also helps the car from going sideways. So I think we can see a lot of passing because there's a lot also adjustment that we can do with this traction control. And I mean, we talked about it earlier. The best car, the best way around is no traction control and have huge amount of grip in the car. So that's what we're trying to find and try to use the traction control less and less and less.
Well, good luck tomorrow. Let's go down to Calvin with Cristiano.
Well, Cristiano is currently doing some other interviews. We're going to try and step in here. Cristiano, you're at the top of the heap there for a while. Did you get outshuffled a little bit with traffic at the end? What was the consideration there?
It was a little bit of traffic. We were thinking one thing about the tires, ended up being the other way. We were thinking the tires would be good in the long run, and they were good right away. So we've learned a few things. I think the point is car is running well, so we don't have a lot to concern. Hopefully we're going to improve our time tomorrow.
Certainly the track should be a lot quicker. This guy should be at the top of the heap tomorrow. He's been quickest through pre-season testing. He was hoping to get that point today, but he'll be looking for one tomorrow.
That's right, Calvin. I think I detected a small bit of downer there for Cristiano D'Amata. After all of these weeks, he has been quick in testing. This weekend, it matters. We'll be back. This Speed Channel presentation has been brought to you by FedEx, proud sponsor of the Kart FedEx Championship Series. Back at Fundidora Park, Friday qualifying is now complete. Let's find out from our boys if it was as dramatic as it was meant to be, fellas.
Well, they changed the rules to spice Friday up. Whoa, they couldn't have dreamed what we saw today would happen. Talk about living for the magic of the moment in motorsports. We all enjoyed it, Calvin, today.
Oh, it's fabulous. And we saw the new rules have some effect too, Derek. We saw Christian Fittipaldi grab the pole, lost it due to causing that red flag situation. And his teammate, Cristiano D'Amata, he said he wasn't sure how to use the tires with these new regulations. Should be a fabulous qualifying session tomorrow. Scott.
Wow, this is nothing but exciting. I sit down with a number of the crews. Everybody's right on the edge, what to do, trying to make those decisions, and this is only the beginning.
All right, thanks very much, guys. I agree with everything. It was great fun. Here's a look at the final qualifying standings. Adrian Fernandez takes the point in the guaranteed front row spot. Michel Jourdain Jr. wound up in 6th. Townsend Bell, top rookie, in 9th.
And then the top there, 2nd through 8th, are covered by 0.3 of a second. So while Adrian has a bit of a gap, 0.3, it's very, very close behind him.
Taking a look at the second 10, Oriol Servia, Miguel Dominguez, Tony Kanaan, Scott Dixon, followed by Tora Takagi and Michael Andretti, mired back in 17th place. Stick around and join us for the opening edition of Kart Friday night. Derek Daly will have Adrian Fernandez, Chris Pook, and much more. Saturday qualifying comes your way tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, followed by the season opener for the Toyota Atlantic Championship at 9:30. And then on Sunday, it's race day live. Our pre-race show begins at 3:30 Eastern Time, followed by the race at 4, and lots of post-race coverage as well. I'm Bob Varsha for Tommy Kendall, Calvin Fish, Scott Pruitt, and Derek Daly. Thanks for being with us, and we hope you'll be here all year long on the Kart FedEx Championship Series trail. Stick around for Kart Friday night. We'll see you tomorrow for the final round of qualifying from Fundidora Park. But for now, so long from Monterrey, Mexico, and the Tecate Telmex Grand Prix.